Good afternoon. Am I audible to you?
Yes, madam.
Thank you. I have a few announcements to share before I start the lesson. Last week I have informed you that we are going to give you a continuous assessment. But unfortunately, there was a problem in the format I sent to your coordinator, right? Um, in that case, I decided to give you the continuous assessment in next week. The next week is the last week of our lecture series. So, as I promised earlier, we have 6 weeks to complete the entire uh, scope. So up to now, today is the 5th week. So with next week's session, we can conclude our lecture series because I have practiced and I have discussed all essential things and all fundamental things for your level in object-oriented programming. So we will give you the continuous assessment next week. I think it's good for you because you have more time to study, but still the same paper, which I have explained earlier because if you remember, I have told you I'm not giving any sessions, I think after third week. Uh, uh, Recording. So that was the part, right? So I'm not giving any questions from last week or the previous week. So as I explained you in a previous session, those are the things I have included in the continuous assessment. And I have done small modification because I told you that you have only 20 questions. No, you have 25 questions because according to the given guidelines, um, your coordinator asked me to set 25 MCQ questions for the continuous assessment. So with that instruction, I have prepared 25 MCQ questions for your continuous assessment. And it basically cover lesson 1, lesson 2 and lesson 3. So if you remember, in first 3 lessons, we have covered the basic theory part. Right? With that, with my third recording, I have done like a small practical in the sense you don't have any huge practical codes in the continuous assessment. So you have questions like what is the statement or what is the keyword we use to print something. So then you know if we want to print something, we use printf. Then what is the keyword we can use to create a new object? The keyword is new. So like that, very simple, like 5 or 6 practical questions are there. Those are very simple. With the basic knowledge, you can answer those questions. All others I have included from first 3 lessons. But you should have a good understanding about like the 4 pillars, what are the objects, classes, the basic definitions of object-oriented programming, and some rough details about data types. Like there are some questions like select select the data types in Java. So you have like few options and you have to select the corresponding data type like that. So like that, those kind of MCQ questions are there. So you will receive that continuous assessment next week, right? So before the uh, lesson or after the lesson, I will give you the time. Still, I did not receive any instructions about that, but we plan to give it in on next week, right? So that is about continuous assessment. And the next thing I want to share is with the continuous assessment, you have another exam to do. So that is mid exam, right? So as practice for the mid exam, usually the university will give you like 1 week time period to submit your answers. So usually you submit your answers into the Google Drive, into the Google Classroom. So that is the practice in other batches as well. So I will give that paper today. So from today onwards, you have 1 week period. So within that period, you can do the question and you can provide your answers as a Word document to the link provided by your coordinator, or I don't know who is the person who provide links, but I don't have any access to the Google Classroom. So I have the responsibility to prepare the paper and give it to you, right? So then by next Sunday, you have to upload your answers. ඒ කියන්නේ සතියක් තියෙනවා. මම අද ඔයගලන්ට මේ chat එකේ paper එක දෙන්නම්. ඒ කියන්නේ mid exam එක. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අනිත් batches වලටත් අපි කරේ හැම batch එකටම basically exams 3ක් තියෙනවා. right? mid exam එක තියෙනවා, continuous exam එක තියෙනවා, continuous assessment කියලා අපි ඒකට කියනවා, final exam එක තියෙනවා. දැන් මම ඔයගලන්ට කලින් සතියක කිව්වේ continuous assignment එක ගැන. හැබැයි ඒක මම යවපු paper එකේ තිබ්බ පොඩි issue එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ formatting issue එකක් නිසා ඒක දෙන්න බැරි වුණා. ඒ නිසා අපි plan කරා continuous assessment එක අපි next week එකේ දෙනවා කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ next week එකේ MCQ questions 25ක් ඔයාට හම්බෙනවා. ඒකට answers දෙන්න තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒක මේ class එක ඉවර වෙලා හෝ class එකට පස්සේ පැය භාගයක් ඇතුළත ඔයාට complete කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊළඟ එක තමයි mid exam එක. mid exam එක කියලා කියන්නේ එක submission එකක්. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස්ලාට සතියක් වගේ දෙනවා. සතියක් තමයි දෙන්නේ. දැන් අද දුන්නොත් ලබන සතියේ සන්ඩේ වෙනකොට ඔයාගේ submission period එක ඉවරයි. ඒ assignment එක ඔයාට Word document එකක answers ලියලා PDF කරලා ඔයාට Google Classroom එකට upload කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක සතියක් ඇතුළත ඔයාට කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ සතියක් තියෙනවා ඔයාට අද ඉඳන් ලබන සතියේ ඉරිදා වෙනකන් ඔයාගේ assignment එක complete කරන්න. මම දැන් assignment එක ඔයාට chat එකේ share කරන්නම් සහ මම screen එකේ පෙන්නන්නම්. පොඩ්ඩක් මට ඒක එතකොට explain කරන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද answers ලියන්න ඕනේ සහ ඔයාගේ submission එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා. Right. Can someone confirm whether you can see my screen? So I'm sharing the assignment. So can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now I will give you 5 minutes, right? And I have already uploaded the assignment into the chat, right? So check whether the uploaded one and the file that you can see in the screen are same, and then read the entire paper, and then I will explain little bit too the way that you should give the answers. So take 5 minutes and read the question paper from beginning to end. Right. So I hope you have read the paper. So if I explain what you all have to do, so we consider this as your mid assignment. So you have 4 questions here. All 4 questions are practical questions, right? Some questions we have done already. Some are a little bit new, but you have the knowledge because we have practiced all components. Using that knowledge, you can write answers for these 4 questions. Right. So let's take the first question. So you have to develop a basic calculator. So you know several times we have discussed about calculators and we have done this calculation part, right? So here you have to write a Java program that takes two numbers and operator. These are the operators. So you have to do summation or addition, subtraction, multiplication and division as inputs and perform the corresponding arithmetic operation. So here I specially mention use scanner for input, which means you have to take inputs from the user and then according to the corresponding input you have to perform the calculation. So let's assume first you ask user to enter the first number, right? And then we ask enter the second number. So now we have two numbers are enough, right? And then you can ask enter an operator to perform the calculation. So when you ask to enter the operator within bracket, you can show these four. Otherwise, they can at the percentage mark, those kind of things. So for clear understanding, when you ask the question to insert the operator, you can show these four as well, right? And then you can do the corresponding calculation according to the operator they have entered. If you remember in a previous week, we have done something called switch case statement. So in switch case statement, for the cases, I have taken these four and I have done the entire calculation with you. So by referring that program, you can write answer for this question. Right. Second one, grade calculator. So write a program that takes a student's marks out of 100 and prints their grade based on. So you have to ask the student mark and show the corresponding output. So your output should be like this. So as an example, I have displayed. Enter your mark. So this is the question you ask from the student. So if it is like 85, you need to show grade B. So I don't remember whether I have done this kind of activity, but however, I can teach you how to do that. For this kind of case, you can use if else because you can see we have conditions to check. But you can't stop your process from only one if else because we have like few things to check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 to check. So in that case, you have to go for nested if. අපි අර if කියන ඒවා ගොඩක් if else ගොඩක් අරගෙන කරා මතකනේ conditions කීපයක් check කරන්න තියෙනකොට අපි if else කීපයක් ගන්නවා, right? දැන් අපි මුලින්ම මේක චෙක් කරනවා එක if එකක් දාලා. දැන් මේක චෙක් කරද්දිත් ඔතන පොඩි දෙයක් තියෙනවා. right? right. දැන් හිතන්න if එකක් ගත්තා. Within bracket, you have to take the marks, right? So marks දැන් 90යි 100ත් අතර. ඒ කියන්නේ 100ට වඩා අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ 90ට වඩා වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ 90ත් ගන්න පුළුවන් මෙතන, right? So in that case you have to show that the given mark or the entered mark by student should less than 100. This is the first condition. And with this we have another condition. What is that condition? Marks should equal or greater than 90. So this is the condition we check. මෙන්න මේක ලියන්න මෙහෙම. 100ත් 90ත් අතර 100ට වඩා අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ 90ට වඩා වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ. 100ට වඩා marks sorry මෙකැනික් පැත්ත right 100 හෝ 100ට වඩා අඩු කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම 90 හෝ 90ට වඩා වැඩි. right මෙහෙම තමයි. දැන් මේක තමයි 100ත් 90ත් අතර කියලා කියන්නේ. 100 හෝ 100ට වඩා වැඩි. 100 or greater than 100. Right? Sorry, 100 or less than 100. මේ මේකේ මේ මාක්ස් කියන පැත්තට තමයි මේ පොඩි පැත්ත ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මාක්ස් හැමතිස්සෙම 100ට වඩා අඩුයි කියන එක තමයි මේ මෙතනින් පෙන්නන්නේ. 100ත් ගන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක තමයි අපි equal කියන එක දැම්මේ. එතකොට මෙතන තියෙන marks එතකොට මේ කට ලොකු පැත්ත කියලා කියන්නේ 90ට වඩා වැඩි. එක්ක 90යි. ඔන්නෝම තමයි condition දෙක පෙන්නන්නේ. Marks less than or equal to 100, marks equal or greater than to 90. Right. මේක equal කියන එක මේ පැත්තට දෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So now you have to check both these two together. මේ දෙකම check කරලා බලන්න ඕනේ. එකක් හරි ගින් හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Then you have to put and. So this is how we put and. දැන් ඔය can එකක් දැම්මොත් මේක වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. So you have to put two ands. Right? So this is for the first condition. And then you can take another if else. Same way you can write this condition. Marks greater than or equal to 89 and marks less than or equal to 80 or less than or equal to 80. So this is the second condition. So like that you have to write condition for all these 5 cases and then you can show the output. Right. So then the third question is sum of even numbers. So if you remember, we have discussed about loops. We have discussed something called loops, right? So in loops, what we do, when we have like same condition or same thing to do again and again, we can go for loops, right? So in that case, in this question also, you have to work with loops. So in a bracket, I have clearly mentioned that you have to work with loops. Write a program that calculates the sum of all even numbers between 1 and n. So here you have to concern another thing. N in the sense you have to ask a number from user. User ගෙන් number එකක් අරගෙන ඒකයි එකයි අතර තියෙන even numbers වල එකතුව තමයි ඔයා පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මෙතන දේවල් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. මුලින්ම ඔයා user ගෙන් input එකක් ගන්නවා. Right? Then you have to you have to check all even numbers in between 1 and the entered number. So let's assume user entered 10. එතකොට 1යි 10යි අතර තියෙන ඔක්කොම even numbers ටික ඔයා හොයාගන්න ඕනේ. අපි even numbers හොයන කෝඩ් එක නම් ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරා. ඒ කෝඩ් එක පාවිච්චි කරලා even number එක හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. But you have to do another thing. You have to get the summation of even numbers. So let's assume in between 1 and 10 we have 5 even numbers. So you have to add all those things. Let's assume 1, 3, 5. So you have to add 1, 5, 3 together and you have to show the summation as the answer. So that is what you have to do. So if user enter 10, summation of even numbers from 1 to 10 is 30. So you have to show it like this, right? And here, the fourth question is you have to print a pattern, right? So here you can just use printf statement because we know when we use printf, we can nicely display something on the screen. So you can use the star pattern and you have to get the output like this, right? So the first one for the one printf, then second printf, third printf, or using a loop also you can do the same thing, right? So you have to do a small research and you can try Notepad++ to get the output, and then you have to write the correct code in a Word document. So it's up to you, right? So if you want, you can copy paste the code directly from Notepad++ and you can paste it for the Word document, right? And then you have to uh, if you want, if you don't have Notepad++ to check, you can directly write the answers in a piece of paper. uh, I don't know whether it's convenient with the guidelines of your institute because you have to double check it with your coordinator. I think it's better if you can type, right? The typing and writing is the same. So if you don't have any Notepad++, you can just type the code in Word document, right? Because it's easy and it's very clear. දැන් සමහර වෙලාවට අපි පොත් කොලේක ලියලා ඔකේ ෆොටෝ එකක් දාන්න කිව්වොත් ඒක ක්ලියර් නැති වෙලා ඔයාට මාක්ස් අඩු වුණොත් ඒක ඔයාට ඩිස්ඇඩ්වාන්ටේජ් එකක්. මම දන්නේ නැහැ ඔයගොල්ලෝ කලින් අසයින්මන්ට්ස් වලට එහෙම කරාද කියලා. එහෙම ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. right? නෝට්පෑඩ් එකේම ලියලා ඒක කොපි කරලා පේස්ට් කරන්න කියලා කිසිම රෙගියුලේෂන් එකක් නැහැ. හැබැයි ඔයාට කන්වීනියන්ට් විදියට සහ ඒක රීඩබල් විදියට, ක්ලියර් විදියට ඔයා ආන්සර් එක දෙන්න ඕනේ. Word document එකක කෙලින්ම 1 2 3 4 5 දාලා කෝඩ් එක ලියන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් නෝට්පෑඩ් එකේ කෝඩ් එක ටයිප් කරලා අවුට්පුට් එක බලලා නෝට්පෑඩ් එකේ ලියපු කෝඩ් එක කොපි කරලා Word document එකට paste කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. Submission සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ contact කරගන්න coordinator එකෙන් අහලා clarify කරගන්න tape එකක ලියලා photo එකක් විදිහට දැම්මත් කමක් නැද්ද කියලා. හැබැයි clear වෙන්න ඕනේ. So I don't know whether you have that practice for the previous assignments in this program. Right. So and these are some guidelines, and I have mentioned the submission date as well. So you have to submit by 25th May 2025. So next Sunday, by next Sunday, you have to submit your answers, right? And you have to rename your paper using this format. So please change this for the mid assignment. Actually, I forget to do that. This is not a continuous assignment. This is your mid assignment. So please change it as mid assignment. Your name OOP mid assignment, right? So these are the instructions that I can give you to complete your mid exam. So do you have any questions from your side to clarify? Right. So it seems you don't have anything to clarify from the mid assignment. So that is about the assignment and all. So now I'm going to start the lesson that we are going to cover today. So, yeah. So this is the sixth lesson. So before that, I have another lesson to do. So I thought I will do it in next week. So today we will discuss about something really important to us about data types. So when we deal with data types in Java, there are some situations we have to convert them into another format. For an example, let's assume you have to deal with double, which means we take user inputs as double, but for the operation, we have to convert it into another data type like float, short, or something like that. So that process we consider as data conversion. So when we do this data conversion, or simply when we convert one data type into another, there are some rules, there are some regulations to check. So in this lesson, we will basically concern about those things. So before we start this conversion and all, we need to understand about data type. So this is a quick activity to do as a in-class activity. So you have to understand the data types in Java, and you have to mention that what is the advantage of having these data types in Java. So why we use these data types? So that is what you have to do. So I will give you like 2 to 3 minutes to quickly complete this activity, because the simple understanding about data types is need to do the data conversion and all that. So quickly do this activity and upload your answers into the chat. So I'm checking the chat. So you should upload, or you should type directly your answers in the chat. Yes, I can see your answers in the chat. So, what are data types in Java? Especially, you can use the word Java because in this lecture series, we will focus Java with respect to object-oriented programming. So, what are data types in Java? So, we have like a few range or few categories of data type. For an example, we have integer, we have float, we have short, boolean, string. So those kind of data types are there. So you can nicely explain about those data types. And the advantage of having those data type is when we write a computer program, we can efficiently handle the code and data with the help of these data types. Because when we know the data type and the range, scope, everything at the beginning, it's easy to handle the code because code we usually do for a machine learning purpose because we write the code for a machine, so we have to explain everything. So when we use these different types of data and all, when we use the data types, your code can understand the scope, memory allocation, everything at the beginning with the data type. So that is why we should nicely understand and nicely use these data types when we learn Java. Right. So now we are going to discuss about data conversion. So when it comes to data conversion, so as I told you earlier, it is the process of converting one data type into another. So when we handle codes, programs, we have those situations. So we have to do those kind of conversions according to the code and according to the requirement. So in that case, we do data conversion. So when it comes to data conversion, basically we have uh, main two types. So I have mentioned it in the slide. The main two types of data conversion are widening and narrowing, right? So these are the basic two types of conversion we do. So what we do in widening, when we have a small data type and we need to convert it to large, we usually do widening. So widening is possible because converting something to short to large is very practical. ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් පොඩි data type එකක් ලොකු data type එකකට convert කරන එක practical සහ කරන්න පුළුවන්. But when we go for narrowing, like the other side, it is difficult. දැන් අපි large data type එකක් small data type එකකට convert කරනවා නම් ඒක ටිකක් practically අමාරුයි. So it's not possible actually. But when we do a converting small one to large, it's possible, right? So now what you have to understand here, what is data conversion and what are the basic two types of data conversion. So the basic two types are widening and narrowing. So in widening, we do small to large. In narrowing, we do large to small. So these are the two types of conversion we usually perform. So here I have mentioned this is okay because I want to show that this is possible. But converting something large to small is not possible actually, but we have some certain cases to apply that. So if I take one example for a widening, so let's assume you have like integer data type. So you know we usually use integer for 2 digits, 3 digits, 4 digits, maximum 4, right? But you have to convert that integer into float. So in float, you know, you can take like more decimal places and you can work with fraction as well. So in that case, you convert small to large. It's possible. But if you do the other way around, which means you are going to convert float to integer. So float is something large and integer is something short, something small. So it is not possible actually. We have some certain ways to do that. And to do these two types of conversion, we have three techniques to follow. So these are the three techniques. We have assignment, promotion, and casting. Right. Yeah. So here I introduce three types in this way. So first I will take assignment. So assignment in the sense what we do here, we have these two types. So you can see here we have money, right? So money is the variable we use. Right? And here the variable is rupee. So these are the two variables we use, right? So I will put V here. So you know what are variables. So we can define variables in a programming language as per the way we want. But we have to use one single word for a particular variable. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඕනම programming language එකක අපි මේ variables කියන ඒවා දකිනවා. Variable එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ අපිට ඒ කියන්නේ meaning එකක් තියෙන විදිහට අපිට මොකක් හරි වචනයක් වචන කීපයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් කෝඩ් එක ඇතුළත. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා ගනුදෙනු කරන data type එක අනුව ඒක depend වෙනවා. user ගෙන් input ගන්නවා නම් user input කියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. user ගෙන් number එකක් ගන්නවා නම් number කියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ variable එකක් කිව්වම හැමතිස්සෙම variable එක single word එකක් විදිහට තමයි දෙන්නේ. වචන කීපයක් වුණත් ඔයාට අර underscore එක දාලා ඒක තනි වචනයක් විදිහට ලියන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් තනි අකුරක්, අකුරු දෙක තුනක්, එක වචනයක්, වචන කීපයක් underscore එකකින් connect කරලා කොහොම හරි මේක spaces නැති එක වචනයක් විදිහට තමයි අපි variables දෙන්නේ. දැන් මෙතන variables දෙකක් තියෙනවා money, rupee. දැන් දෙකම single word. Though, according to the data that we use in the code, we can decide what are the names we use for the variables. So if you deal with money, you can just use money as the variable name. And if you need to deal with rupee, so you can use rupee for a variable currency, ABC, A, like that. You can give whatever the name you want for a particular variable. So if you use these variables in a code, before the variable, which means in front of this, not in front actually, before the variable, you have to write what is the data type of that variable. ඔයා මොකක් හරි වචනයක් variable එකක් විදිහට දුන්නොත් ඒ variable එකට අපිට දාන්න පුළුවන් මොන විදිහේ dataද කියලා මේ variable එක ඉස්සරහින් ඔයා indicate කරන්න ඕනේ. So we called it as data type. So here you can see for the first case I have taken float. For the second case I have taken int. Right? So these are the two data types we use for money and rupee. So if it is like full numbers, you can use integer. So if you have like decimal places, you can use for float, right? So it's depend on the data type. So here we have two types of data. So now tell me, what is the largest one? Largest in the sense, what are the largest in the sense, what is the data type that we can use to store very lengthier number, right? So tell me, what is the largest data type and what is the smallest data type from these two? What is the large? What is the small? Yes. So float is the largest number. So let me show you this again, because without understanding these data types and its scope, it is really difficult to handle codes. Right. Data types in Java. So when you go and search the data types in Java, you can see this answer, right? So here you can see we have these basic data types in Java. So if you don't know, you can write this in wherever you want. So no need to write about the range. So just type these types of data types we have. So we have byte, we have short, int, long, float, double, boolean, char. So these are the basic data types we have, right? So byte in the sense we usually write 8-bit integers. For short, we write 16-bit integer. For int, we write 32-bit integer. Long, 64-bit integer. Float is 32-bit floating point numbers. Double, 64-bit floating point numbers. Boolean represent true or false. 1, 0, yes, no, we can put under Boolean data type. Character is 16-bit Unicode character. So we use the word string for the same data type. So when we write a word, sentence, a few characters, we usually use this as the data type. So here I have put some examples as well. For byte, you can use this type of value, 100. For short, you can write 1000. For int, you can write 10,000. For long, you can write little bit more. You have to put L at the end. Float is you have this kind of floating points. So 0.14 is floating. So you can put that. And here for double, so if you have very lengthier floating point, you can use double. Boolean, true is a Boolean value. Character is 8. So these are some examples for different data types. Since I didn't receive any answers for the previous question, I decided to show this one as well, because without understanding these data types and all, it is no point of doing Java, because data types and their ranges are the most important thing you need to understand before you build a code, right? Because we don't know where we use data. So in everywhere we need to handle data. That is why actually we write computer programs. We need to handle data, we need to enter data, so we do these kind of programs. So if you don't know and if you can't understand about data types, please Google and understand about data types, then you can get a clear idea on that. I think in a previous class also I have discussed and I have show you these data types to you. Let me share the screen again. So we were discussing about the first type, right? So here we have the first variable as the float, second variable as int. So now tell me, is this possible? So this is possible when you convert small one into a large one, which means the small one is integer. So when you convert this small one into large one, it is actually possible, right? So you can see here, V equal money to rupee. So when we equal money to rupee, it automatically convert small one into large one. So how I understood that? We have point 0. So usually when we use integer data type, we do not consider the point value, right? But here it automatically convert to the large one. So we can see it under float data type. The මෙතන අපි integer type data එකක් තියෙනවා, float type data එකක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට දැන් අපි මේකට assignment කියන technique එක apply කරොත් assignment එකේදී අපි කරන්නේ මේ පැත්තේ තියෙන එක මේ පැත්තට සමාන කරනවා. right? දැන් මේ පැත්තේ තියෙන float නම් මේ පැත්තේ තියෙන integer නම් ඔයා assignment එකක් දැම්මොත් කෙලින්ම වැඩි එක්කෙනා තමයි float, මෙයාව float එකකට convert වෙනවා. ඔයාගේ final answer එක float එකකට convert වෙලා තමයි එන්නේ. එක තමයි මෙතන 50.0 කියන එක තිබුණේ. So this is we usually do for assignment, right? So this is very simple when we have two data types, and when we apply assignment, it automatically converts small one to large one like this. The final output we can take from the largest data type. And the second type is promotion. So here also we have two types. One is float and the other one is int. And we have two variables called sum and count. So here what we do, we apply the promotion, then count is promoted to float. So it happened automatically, right? So let's assume we have a small calculation like this. So to get the result, we divide sum by count. So here we have float, which means the final output should be in float. And let's assume these two are integers. Then the code automatically understand what is the largest data type. The largest data type is float. Then they divide these values and give the answer using float, because that is the largest one in this line or statement. That is how assignment and promotion happen. Then we have third one, casting. So here, when we do the conversion in opposite way, as I told you earlier. So usual cases are converting small one to large one. So when we apply assignment and promotion, these are automatic conversion methods, techniques. So it happen only for small to large. But if you have to convert large to small, you can use this typecasting, right? Not only for large to small, for other way around also you can use, but especially for the other way, we can use casting. So here you have an example. In first case, we convert int to double. In second case, we convert float to double. So these are very practical, because first we have the small type and then we have large type. So integer is small type of data. Double is large when we compare with integer. And in the second case, we have to convert float to double. So float is small and double is large. So in this case also we convert small to large. And here when we do this casting, so we use this cast operator which is available in Java. And here I have put an example. So we can't do this manually, right? So we have to put the corresponding data type in bracket, right? So here, if you want to convert money, so you can put within bracket int, then they convert final answer to integer. So if you want to get the final answer from float, you have to write it like this. So it's not automatically happen. Right. So when we consider about casting, basically we have two types, implicit and explicit. So implicit perform automatically, explicit perform according to the user's request. We have to forcibly tell do this one. Then පොඩි data type එකක් ලොකු data type එකකට convert කරනවා නම් මේ implicit කියන එකෙන් තමයි වෙන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒක අනිත් පැත්ත කරනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ ලොකු data type එකක් පොඩි data type එකකට convert කරනවා නම් අපිට forcefully එක කරවන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. මොකද ඒක සාමාන්‍ය usual දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. අන්න ඒවට අපි explicit කියන එක පාවිච්චි කරනවා. Right? So we can apply implicit for int to double, float to double. So which means when we convert a small data type into larger one, we can use this implicit casting. මොකද ඒක අමුතුවෙන් forcefully කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් පොඩි data type එකක් ලොකු data type එකකට convert කරනකොට ඒක ඉබේ කරන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද ඒක possible. දැන් මේක තමයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් flow එක පොඩිම data type එක තමයි byte කියන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ short, int, long, float, double. ඔයා මේ පැත්තට යනවා නම් conversion එක කියන්නේ byte එකක් short කරනවා, එහෙම නැත්නම් byte එකක් int කරනවා, short එකක් long කරනවා, int එකක් float කරනවා. මේ පැත්තට නම් යන්නේ ඔයාට implicit casting apply කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඕකේ අනිත් පැත්තට යනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ලොකු data type එකක් පොඩි data type එකකට convert කරනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක අනිත් පැත්තට යන එකක්. එතනදී අපිට මේ explicit forcibly අපිට conversion එක කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. Right. So I have mentioned an example for an explicit type of casting. Check whether y'all can understand this statement because we have done these kind of things previously. Right. So here, as I told you earlier, Java does not perform downcast automatically. Downcast in the sense when we have a large data type and when we want to convert that large data type into small one, we can't do it automatically. දැන් මේ Java වල අපි automatically එක data type එකක් තව data type එකකට convert කරනවා කියන එක කරන්න පුළුවන් පොඩි data type එකක් ලොකු data type එකකට convert කරනවා නම් විතරයි. ඕකේ අනිත් පැත්ත කරන්න ගියොත් ඒ කියන්නේ ලොකු data type එකක් පොඩි data type එකකට convert කරන්න ගියොත් ඒක automatically කරන්න බෑ. අපි forcefully code එක ලියලා ඒක කරවන්න ඕනේ. ඕක තමයි මෙතන කියන්නේ. So Java does not perform downcast automatically. So for an example, int x equal int 12.78. So here 12 to x after turn casting. So when you take system.out.println, you have to put the int like this. දැන් ඔයා මේ වගේ එකක් දුන්නොත් ඔයාගේ කෝඩ් එක අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගන්නවා මේක ඇත්තටම ඉන්ටිජර් ටයිප් එකක් නෙවෙයි මේක ෆ්ලෝට් එකක් 12.78 කියන්නේ මෙතන දශම ස්ථාන තියෙනවා ඒ කියන්නේ මේක ෆ්ලෝට් එකක් හැබැයි ඔයාට ඕනේ මේක ඉන්ටිජර් එකක් කරන්න ලොකු ඩේටා ටයිප් එකක් පොඩි එකක් කරන්න ඔයා ඒ නිසා within bracket int කියලා දෙනවා. ඔයා print එක ගන්නකොට මෙන්න මේ විදිහට දෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ විදිහට දුන්නාම මේ කාන්ස් එක වුණාට අන්තිම ආන්ස් එක 1 කියලා තමයි return වෙන්නේ. මේ ඔක්කොම ටික අයින් වෙලා 1 කියන එක තමයි එන්නේ. මොකද අපිට ඕනේ මේක integer එකකට convert කරන්න. අපි ඒක බලෙන් කෙරෙව්වා. මෙන්න මේ කෑල්ල දාලා. එතකොට එයා මේක අයින් කළා 1 කියන එක ගන්න. දැන් ඔයාලට මේක බැලුවාම තේරෙනවා ඒක හරි ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් අඩුයි. මොකද 1.999 කියන එක almost 2 කියන එක. right? දැන් අපි ඒක integer එකට convert කරාම මෙන්න මෙයා විතරයි ගන්නෙ. එතකොට value එකේ අර තියෙන trustworthiness එක අඩු වෙලා යනවා. අපි මේ වගේ අර downcast එකක් කරනකොට. right. Right. So now we have a new thing to understand. Wrapper classes. So this is little bit new. So I would like you all to go through this power slide and understand the content first by yourself. Because this is little bit new to you but very simple. Huh? Very simple theory to understand. First read this slide and then I will explain it to you. So when we write Java program, there are some situations we need to create for data types. So we need to create objects for data types, right? So in that case, we use something called wrapper classes. So as I mentioned here, sometimes we need to create an object representation of a primitive type. So these are collection on classes that deal only with such objects. So they help to wrap, or we called it as encapsulate, the primitive data in classes. So in Java, it provides classes that correspond to each of these primitive data type. Basically, these classes encapsulate or wrap the primitive types within a class. So wrappers are classes that encapsulate a primitive type within an object. So let's check the next slide, then you will understand what are these classes. So basically we have two types, primitive So here we have the two types, primitive and its wrapper class. දැන් මේකේ ලොකු දෙයක් නැහැ. අපි ඔය කියන තරම් concept එකේ ලොකු දෙයක් නැහැ. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ අපි එක data types වලට ඒවා මේ Java වල පාවිච්චි කරනකොට සමහර අවස්ථා තියෙනවා ඔය data type එකෙන් object එකක් හදන්න වෙන. So we called it as a wrapper class. So we usually write the data types in this way. Byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. දැන් මේවා තමයි ඔයා කලින් බලපු data types ටික. ඕකේ primitive class. ඕක තමයි primitive data type කියලා කියන්නේ. Right? එතකොට ඕකේ අපි හදනවා wrapper class එක. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ objects හදන්න තමයි අපි මේවා පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. wrapper class එක වෙන්නේ මේකම තමයි. හැබැයි ඔයාලට පේනවා මේ first character එක capital. දැන් කොහේ හරි first character එක capital වෙලා තිබුණොත් ඔයා ඒක දැනගන්න ඕනේ ඒක wrapper class එකක් කියලා. right? ඊට පස්සේ තව වෙනසක් තියෙනවා මේ int කියන එක අපි integer කියලා ලියනවා i එක capital කරනවා. right? So that is the difference between primitive and wrapper class. So basically we have the objects and we have these three classifications under object, which means we have three different types of object. We have numbers, we have characters, and we have Boolean. So numbers are these categories. So these are the categories of numbers. We call all these as wrapper classes. Right. And when we discuss about the wrapper classes and primitive data type, so we have something called auto boxing and unboxing. So auto boxing and unboxing in the sense, in auto boxing what we do, it is the process by which a primitive data type is automatically encapsulated into its equivalent wrapper class. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි primitive data type එකක් එයාට අදාළ එයාගේ wrapper class එකකට convert කරන එකට අපි auto boxing කියලා කියනවා. Unboxing කියන්නේ ඒකේ අනිත් පැත්ත. data type එකකින් එයාගේ wrapper class එක extract කරගන්න එක තමයි unboxing කියලා කියන්නේ. මෙන්න මේ unboxing, auto boxing කියන concept දෙකම introduce කරේ Java 1.5 එක. Right? So converting primitives to object, auto boxing, objects to primitive, unboxing. Right. So I have put some example codes as well for your understanding. So here you know what is this. So this is the main method. And here we should take the prim. So you know this is the wrapper class. So that is why we put integer, capital I, and the entire word. So this is the object I use. The value of this one is 10. So if I want to convert this to its wrapper class, so I will use I as the new variable, and I want to convert this to its corresponding wrapper, the corresponding primitive data type. So then I put int and I assign the objects I have created here, right? So this is the way. Then here we have a character. So this is the wrapper class, and this is the variable I have created. The value is a. So if I convert, so I will take another variable. So this is the primitive data type, and here I'm going to assign this. එතකොට ඉබේම මේකට convert කරනවා. So here, this is an example for auto boxing of an integer. This is an example for unboxing of an integer. So this is an example of auto boxing of character. So this is an example of unboxing of character. So you can check the output by just taking an output for both variables. Right. So here we have like some converting methods and whether you can do it or not. Because when we try to do some conversion, we know some situations are there we have to face with errors, right? So the first one is converting int into float. So now tell me, is this possible? Yes, because integer is small number, float is large number. So when you convert integer into float, it's possible, and you can apply the automatic method as well. So how we do that? So let's assume you have a variable called xint. The value is 10. So this is the data type. And here we have another variable called float. You put float before the variable. Then you can put equal. දැන් ඔය equal දුන්නාම ඔයාගේ final answer එක එන්නේ 10.0. ඒ කියන්නේ float එකක් විදිහට. So you can do automatic conversion. So this is okay. Then let's check this one. You have to convert the other way. Float into integer. So float is a big or large number, and int is small number. So you do in the opposite way. Right. So is this possible? No, this is not possible because we can't do automatic conversion for this kind of thing. So here we have int, the data type. So this is the variable. And here we have the x float, and here this is the variable I used, right? So here I put f here because I want to show this as a float. Here when I put equal, this is not happen because here you want to convert float to int. So automatic happen will not happen when you convert large one to small one. So how we correct this error? You have to write it like this. So in a bracket, you have to write the data type that you want to convert. You forcibly do that. So here, when you do the conversion, you can write it like this. Right. Then converting double to float. So you know converting double to float is not possible because double is a large one, float is a small one. So you can't automatically convert that. So in that case, you can't do it like that. But instead of that, you have to follow this method. Within bracket, you have to clearly mention what is the data type that you want to convert. So even it is a smaller one, you have to indicate like that, then it will happen. So this is the way we do it when we convert large data types into small ones. Right. So I have discussed about auto boxing and unboxing. So I have included some other example for this primitive and object. So literally you can go through these codes and you can understand this. Right. So this is what I wanted to share with you. So with this, I'm going to wind the today's session because we have like another new lesson to discuss after this, but we don't have enough time to cover that part. So, do you have any questions to ask? Anything need to clarify from your side? No. It seems everything clear to you. So please take the rest of time to do your assignment, mid assignment, because you have like 1 hour more for the to complete the session. But unfortunately, we can't do it because we have like very lengthy lesson to discuss because I want to start and end in a same day. So we can discuss it in next week. So you can take the rest of time to complete your assignment, right? So please make sure next week I will give you the continuous assessment. It's 25 MCQ questions, like you will receive 30 minutes to complete that. Right. So thank you very much for your participation. I hope you have got a clear idea about data conversion and all. So we can meet next week, and please make sure to submit your assignments on time. Right. Goodbye and have a nice week for all of you. Someone asked me the PDF. I don't know what is the PDF you ask. Yeah. What is the PDF you ask? Lecture material or the assignment? Lecture material, right? Give me a second. I can upload it to the portal. Yeah, I think the file is not uploading because it exceeds the allocated size. I think there's a problem with server. I will give this PowerPoint presentation to your coordinator because I think with the Zoom issue, they show an error, right? So you're exceeding the uploading limit like that, right? So I will share all lecture materials to the coordinator. Actually, I already shared at the beginning, but however, I can share it again, all these lecture materials with your coordinator. Via your coordinator, you can receive all your lecture materials, right? So sorry for the inconvenience because of the issue in Zoom. It is difficult to upload. Right. So any other questions from your side? No. Right. So then I'm going to stop the class. Thank you and have a nice week for all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.